miss you.
Hi.
How are you?
Pretty swell.
Pretty slow.
No, swell, slow.
I felt. Wait a minute. Did you say slow?
No, no, swell.
Oh, cause
Like
I was getting
well,
ready to
oh,
say.
the S is there.
I was getting ready to say what? What the world? Yeah, I was. I had made a little video. I'm like, let me get my butt up here. Uh, just talking a little bit about the team talk. Just telling people we be on at 6 tonight, and you know, felt kind of good because I was down on the couch part of it, and
Right.
it felt great. Just trying to encourage the parents and motivate the parents, and helping them understand too that a lot of times we raise our children, right? And I'm looking at with mine stuff like that, right? And a lot of people don't embrace their children, like hold them, hug them, tell you I love you. It's
Yeah.
always giving directions. You know what I mean? Hey, pay family, money, money, money. It's always giving them directions and telling them what to do, than actually loving them and embracing them. And that's what I bet I mainly be talking about. But anyway, um, I'm thinking about when something happened. I was talking to somebody. I don't know if it was a therapist or what, but I was talking to somebody, and I was talking about the relationship with my children, and be honest, their mother. And somebody said, "What is going on with them that they don't trust their mother?" I was like, "Huh?" Because that was amazing. Because I'm looking at the way we raised them and everything, but I was the more intimate one, like holding them, hugging them, embracing them,
Right.
and all that type of stuff. And when she said that, it took me back to that. What's going on that, like, mainly my, at the time she was young, my 26-year old. It was like, what's going on that she don't trust her mother? And I was like, wow. I had to look at it. And that's why I was sharing some of the things that I did to help the parents to know you can be there, taking them to like sports, whatever programs you got them in, sports, modern dance, tap dance, theater, whatever, 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 right? But, and then you help them with their homework, you helping them do things, but you're not embracing them. And that
Right.
really made me, that popped in my head as I was doing the conversation talk, right? Because parents sometimes, because of the way they work and the way they do things, it's that void that they be feeling inside. and
Right.
and sometimes if you don't have it, I call it the love. If you don't have love inside of you, you can't give it back. That's how I feel. If you don't know how to
Right.
love yourself and care for yourself and have respect for yourself, you won't really know how to turn that love. I mean, you won't really know how to give it back to basically anybody. And
Right.
and I was sharing that before we came on. I am not. I'm not. As far as somebody coming into my life, if they don't really have love and compassion for their own self, I don't want you in my life, because I've been through it. So you won't really know how to embrace me mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And
So
even
you're focused on maintaining yourself, not building someone else up.
right, right. Well, see, now keep in mind, when, because it was another person that said that, right? But keep in mind, I'm talking about that individual who already know who they are, and they
Right.
filled with love. You can only give me back. That's how we build each other up. Is that love and that compassion. Like when you feel weak on this end, you know how to embrace them to build them up. when you feeling weak on this end, you know how to embrace them and build them up. And that's what I'm talking about. Because as far as trying to mold and shape somebody, that's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
But I never love was there, right? But it wasn't to the degree of I think the person did what they did because they felt like this what they were supposed to do, you know. But as far as, and that's what a lot of people will do too. They, as a parent, right? We know we gotta be responsible for our children. So we working, we doing what we do in that sense to provide for them. We doing all the material things. But when it comes to embracing them and loving them and cuddling them, and that's the same with any relationship. If you don't have it inside you, you won't know how to give it back. And I learned that working on myself. So that's why when I say little things like build you, I'm talking about more like on the spiritual sense, or when you emotionally drained or you mentally drained, and that person identifies with it, and they know how to motivate you, encourage you, and stuff like that. You know, Candy. All right. So that's what I was talking about. But once again, when I read that book, and I was talking about it the other day by Melanie Beatty, it talks about a lot of that. It talks about how parents put adult responsibilities on their children. You know, mainly if both of them working and they maintaining the household. I mean, they working, but that older child, they tend to put the responsibilities on that child, mainly if they got other children, of cleaning the house, maintaining them.
Isn't that called adultification and emotional enmeshment?
It could be called that. I forgot the name of it, but when I read Melanie Beatty's book, and she was talking about that, and in a sense, it made me think about what my mother did to me, and that's one of the reasons why I said I would never put adult responsibilities on my children. So I had to raise them age appropriately. They 10, let them be 10. They're not 12. You know, they 12, let them be 12. They're not 14 or 15. Because what people have a tendency of doing, um, like I'm 64. I'll be 64. I'm sorry. I'll be 64. I ain't trying to act like I'm no goddamn 70. Now watch the words I just said. Act like I'm 70. No, right now, I'll be 64. I'm just claiming the age. February the 20th. So I'm 63, but I need to be 63 now because what we have a tendency of doing, and I love that word because I had to look at it one day. When I say act, like a lot of younger females, right, tends to act mature than what they are. It's just an act, right? And that hit me one day. They act mature, and and most girls anyway are more mature than boys, right? So so that's why we have to be careful because even though they act more mature, they're not mature, and that's what I had to realize. They're
Yeah,
not.
and like when parents say, "Oh, she's fast," I feel like that's putting her in an adult role, right? Because it's like oh, like she's a fastball, like baseball.
I
But
got you.
they neglect that there's people out there who want to catch that fastball, if that makes sense. Usually, when they say fast, they're not acknowledging that something happened to that child.
Yup, yup,
For them to act like that, and they
yup.
treat them as if they're adult women in some way, whether that's because of their own trauma. But when you're a parent, you're supposed to try to be working on yourself and healing from that, not putting that on your kids. It basically making the cycle repeat.
Right. And I'm glad you said that because, be honest, whenever I see, I'm gonna say child, I'm talking about young, under 10, and I'm talking about say like about 10, 12. But when I'm looking at somebody young like that, mainly the girls, and they tend to act a little bit or act a certain way, That's one of the things I say too. It's not that they're hot for the age or something like that. I'm like, oh my God. Because those are signs, if you don't watch it, that there's a good chance they might have been touched or somebody's doing something to them. And those are the signs I look for, as a parent myself or as a person that deal with like women and children. And when they come into the housing program, you tend to pay attention anyway. But because too, they travel from house to house to house, trying to find somewhere permanent, somebody somewhere, cousin, uncle, whoever, father, grandfather, could have touched them. And that can go the same for the boys as well. But when
yeah, it doesn't even have to be different genders. It could be the same gender.
Right, that one too. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So come on.
So you were saying about the different ages, right?
Yeah.
5, 6, 7. What is the difference, and what does that look like as far as because I think every child and adult is made differently. Even when it comes to I think maturity, even in adults. You understand what I'm saying? You could the same thing that you were doing maybe when you were 15, maybe I wasn't.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And I mean, they say that girls mature faster, but that still depends. I think that depends on what girl or what woman we're speaking about. You know what I mean? I don't think that says all girls or all women. You understand? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, look, keep in mind, money. I already know it's not all, right? But it's to identify certain things um, with your child's behavior. Now, if you have a boy that's 5 or 6 years old, and he constantly playing, touching, right? Fondling with it. If you're going to try to find out what's going on, because if he's fondling unusually, you're going to check to see if it's some infection or something. Even with the girls. Now, when you were saying that, I was looking at the times when I would change my daughters, right, when they was infants or whatever. And you open that, you look at it, make sure it's cleaned out well, and you got to be gentle, stuff like that. So you see that shield right there. But anyway, damn, don't too many guys talk that deep like me. Cause I used to have to encourage guys to understand it's okay to change your daughter's pants, but you just got to be a little bit gentle. You know what I mean? But they was like, I ain't touching that part. But you want to make sure nothing looks unusual. You get me? Even though dad knows certain things, and I know I'm around them, I know the mother around them, but sometimes they might go over grandma's house. So uncle there, so you hoping and praying that don't nothing crazy happen. You get me? Well, anyway, in saying that, you pay real attention to them when they're young, and 5 or 6 years old, they should not be doing anything. So if you see unusual behaviors, that's how you recognize stuff. Oh, something ain't right there. You know. And even with, I'm gonna go back to the babies, right? The girls. If you see them doing something there unnatural, you definitely have to get them checked. If because it could be some type of little infection or something trying to come. So it might not be that somebody did anything or touched them. Because with the little girls, you can always make sure the Heimlich haven't been broken, right? Now with the boys, it's somewhat the same. But if you see a 5 or 6 year old boy tend to be doing this a lot, now he's doing it a lot, and he's doing it unusually, and I'm gonna say in the way of playing with himself. That's not good. Now it could be just curiosity. If you take them to maybe talk with someone and they can better explain to you, if it's just 5 or 6 years old doing, I'm just saying curiosity, and to me in my head that's weird. you know, a 5 or 6 year old fondling and doing certain things. You get me? So now when you get around about, and I'm going in between the ages of 10, and one of the main reasons why um, I was looking at this money, when I got up to do this, I was looking at a lot of our children, 10, 11, 12, home. I'm talking about the girls. And what came across my head, some of them had babies at a very early young age. And in my mind, in my heart, a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old should not be having a baby, right? And as I was doing this, I didn't want them to make up an excuse for not coming out the house to enjoy themselves as a child. So when I was writing this, I said I want to put a multi-purpose, I want a therapist to come out to counsel the younger babies, right? And I'm just looking in between the age thing. Even if I look at 14, 15, stuff like that, to be honest with you, to me they shouldn't be having sex. You know, that's just young, unless something ain't right. You know what I mean? Something ain't right. I mean, I'm just looking back at myself coming up, you know, but it was the young ones like that that I got to looking at. And the reason why I'm trying to get to this real quick, I said I want a therapist to come in, like to be able to counsel the youth. And this is what I'm looking at, even what we doing, Hugh, here. It's like if the young ones start coming in, I would love for a therapist to come up or counselor to come up. I know we'll do a good job. I already know that. But I want a professional to be there with them. And I want somebody around Hugh's age, because she's younger, to that can relate more to them. Because I'm like over that hill part, but still you relate, right? But I just want somebody younger where they can relate to more money. But now, in saying that, and I was trying not to cry, because when I wrote that, I started crying. Because I realized a lot of our children are being abused. And they don't have nobody they can talk to let them know what's happening. Right. And I started crying right there. And I said I'm gonna make sure we have a counselor in there in the multi-purpose center. Because I don't want no young child. Say like they know how to sing, money. They know how to act. Act as far as actors wise. They intelligent, music, all of that. I don't want none of them to have no excuses for not coming out to embrace their talents, even if they gotta bring their baby. So I said I'm gonna put a daycare center in the multi-purpose center. And that's why, money, I started doing this. God woke me up 2:30 one morning, and I started doing this business proposal. And I've talked with a lot of people. I want a school. To be honest with you, I want a school. And in that school, I want to do music, art, theater, dance, and all that stuff, right? To embrace their talents. Because even though I'm going to say they broken, that don't make them dumb. Or, you know, some of them still have embracing our children. So I get touchy when I think on us on that deeper level, right? Because there's so many of them getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk with like case managers and stuff like that. And I get mad when a lot of them don't believe the children. I get mad. And if you listen to some of them, they be like, because they lie, because they this and they that. Now, wait a minute, you're supposed to be the counselor for the children. My wife, aunt, did that when it came to my stepdaughter. And I told them, I said, no, it's not her, it's her mother. And I started arguing with her family because her family, she started making them think she was the bad one. I said, no. That's why when I left, I took her with me. Because I told them, I said, she's not the problem. She's not the problem. So anyway, that's what made me look at certain things, just how some of them being abused, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And, you know, those things tear you down deep too. So, like I said, It's recognizing certain things. You get me? And this is where my heart is at when it comes to certain stuff. I forgot how old Nedra said she was. I think Nedra said she was even about 12 when she had her son, right? She was about 12. And right now, I think he in his 30s. But she was a mother at a real early young age. And now she a grandmother. But that's just something that popped in my head because this somebody I met after when I was with my first wife, with my side piece, money. I was, but look, no, and she had to get her son back because she had lost her son, and we was all young during this time, younger, but she got her son back when I got the police force and everything, and then eventually I rolled out. But when she told me that, it kind of hurt me because you look for your mother, your parents to protect you. But when they're caught up with the smugs and stuff, a lot of them sell their children off.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with her. And she turned out to be a beautiful person, as far as mother wise and stuff like that. And I'm real proud of her. I'm real proud of her. I forgot what age she might be now, but you run across so many children that have babies, and if it's not from a regular boy touching girl thing, then a uncle, a cousin, a grandfather, somebody that did something to at least to me start them out. And that's why you might look at certain young ladies and say, or babies, I meant, because I don't want to get the older ones mixed up yet. And you might say, oh, she's so hot, oh, she's so fast. I'm like, something wrong there. You can say what you want because they real quick to say it. But it's harder to money for certain counselors or therapists to actually believe if a child tell them, like a young girl, tell them that she's been touched her mother boyfriend or uncle, sometimes they think they lying. They think they lying. And when I found out some of the counselors that's supposed to be working with the children like that, and turn around talking about because they bad as I don't know what, they this and that. It's a reason for it. So that's one of the things when it comes to like our politicians in Baltimore City and some of the bills that they created to help reduce crime. And well, because of our children behaviors. And my thing is y'all need to learn to get to the root cause of what's going on. It's a reason why they act like that. And I realized
the symptoms but not the root cause.
There you go. And see, I realized that's what they're good at doing. Now, I have a list, and I know y'all seen me talk about it a lot. Nonprofits in Baltimore City that work with the youth. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of them that's doing great jobs, but it's a lot of them that's slipping under. How can I say it, Hugh? It's like they slipping under or through the cracks, something like that, right? Just like with the homeless population, I know Brandon Scott and them doing a great job with the homeless population, but there's so many of them that's slipping through the cracks where they might have put vouchers in or Section 8, stuff like that. And they might have been on it 5-6 years, or they running in and out of a shelter, but they might have something, but they just don't have a place yet. When I say that, I'm saying a voucher. So they're slipping through the cracks because the worker is not following up with them. Now, if I get your number, if you one of my clients or you somebody at a shelter, right? I'm in an encampment. That's what I'm trying to get to. In the streets. I got your name and your number, and I got the name of your counselor number, right? And if that counselor tell you, well, I'm gonna get back with you within a month or two, and you tell me that counselor didn't come back, reach back out to you within that month or two, I'm calling their asses. And forgive my language. I call them, boo. I mean money. And see, only reason why I'm saying this, because this is what me, Claudia, and Chef used to do when no one person goes hungry. Because a lot of people had vouchers for Section 8s and stuff. They got children now. And because it's like a waiting list. But I found out too, for somebody like me that's real close to certain people, and I'm going to say like the director of housing, I can get the vouchers and I can get you in a lot quicker because I'm hands-on like that. So that's not a problem. You know, low income housing and all of that. But you have to have landlords and all that stuff there for you with the permanent housing. We talked about that some years ago, Candy. That's no problem. But we'll talk, Candy. But now the thing with all of that, everything we saying, and I'm focusing on the women with children. And it's not as much as the men, right? The men tend to do the right things quicker, but it's the women with the children because of all that weight on them. And what I realized, you know, mainly when they in my house, you want to make them safe, because if they have children, you know, and she's staying on my heart, right? I had to let her go. I didn't want to say it, but the one that told me she was gonna unalive me, she gonna unalive me, right? She was starting too much chaos and confusion, but I had to let her go. 15-year-old daughter, she might be 16 now, and a 10-year-old. So I'm looking at the stuff that their mother going through. So they don't have no permanent place to stay. So they might be at this house for a month or two. Little example. Then they might go somewhere else. Then you got daughters. I don't know if anybody touched them. You get me? So that's why when you come into my housing program, you have to sign up for the mental health program. And the reason why I'm saying that, you got to sign your children up too. So if they're 7 years old on up, you have to sign them up for the mental health program, because we have to get them counseling too. And like I said, I have a tendency of being one-on-one. So say like the 15-year-old, I wouldn't talk with her just one-on-one like this. Her mother would definitely be there, and a couple of the women would be there as well, right? But the thing is, you want them to be comfortable enough to tell you if something happened, so you can get them the proper help. That's why my thing is, when it comes to the parents, right? I was going to say the mother, but I'm gonna just say the parents, period. Listen. And I love when they do that little skit. We listen, but we don't judge. And they allow them kids to say certain things. Yeah. And I said, ooh, I like that. Because I'm going to tell you, one day I said the same things, Money. And my 23-year-old, well, she's 25 now, she said something to me, and I forgot all about that. I was like, don't you did it hit me. Don't do it. Because, you know, we got to practice what we preach, you get me? And I realized that, Steve, that's what you opened that door for, that they can come to you and talk to you about anything. And the goal is not get upset, even if they telling you they don't like something about you and your behavior and stuff. You get me? So I'm telling you, that's why I pick with the parents when I say, listen, but we don't judge, because sometimes they might say something you want to knock their heads off, but it's like, let them get it out. Let them get it out, so that way you'll know how to better deal with your child. And I feel like this, if we keep it open for the parents, like we talk with the parents over here, and if somebody young want to come up, they over 18 or whatever, they're welcome if they want to come up, just to get whatever off their chest. So little things like that is where I'm at with that. You know, I'm still kind of skeptical when it comes to the parent itself, because I don't want that teenager to feel uncomfortable because of their parent that they don't want to be honest. And that's one of the things I learned is if your children don't trust you, they're not gonna tell you what's happening with them. Then you got to find out why, you know. So this is once again you I was going y'all know this is personal for me. This is something personal because I want to see people happy. You get me? And not just the grown-ups. A lot of times we won't listen to our children and allowing them to express where they at. My two nephews, right, and my niece raised them very, 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 very well. They decided they want to go street. So I talked with them. I shared with them how it was, how it is, blah, 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 right? And basically I was trying to warn them. But they had to go through what they had to go through. So I asked my niece when I talked with her on the 12th, I said, how's the boys doing? And she told me, mainly the one that used to do the talk show with me, she said he living in a room with him and his girlfriend, right? Renting a room, he working, he doing this and doing that. I'm like, so her oldest son, I asked her how he was doing, because that was the one that was trying to be thug and all that type of stuff, right? And I think she said he came back with her. And the point is, they still up and running. You get it? So my biggest fear with that was, God, not I'm gonna move that word fear out the way. But the biggest thing with that was I didn't want to see the streets take them because they didn't grow up in the streets like that. But they got a certain age and they start being around certain people and they wanted to be part of. And I understood that they had to go through what they had to go through, but Uncle said what he said to them to let them know, the downfalls of certain things. But now, once again, money, once we lay down the rules, we feed them, we got to step back and watch and just pray to God they learn from certain things, their mistakes and stuff. And that's where I had to go at with that. Because I raised their mother, and their mother, like I told her, I said, you are a awesome mother. Reason why I was saying that, money, because I raised your ass damn well. So I know what's in her, right? And I watch how she raised her boys till they got to that age where they can hang with the crew. You get me? So I understood, and I told her, I said, whatever you do, keep in mind you're a great mother. You're a great mother. And money and Hugh, the only reason why I'm telling her this, because I raised her. And she only gave back to them what was given to her, as far as being responsible and productive and teaching her sons morals, values, and principles. But I realized too, once we in the street, we're away from home. We tend to do things the way we want. And that's why Big Unc had to back up. You get me? And just pray to God and ask him to protect him. Because come on.
Candy in the team, she's on Teacup now.
But
I think she put in the comment about her situation with this. She said, maybe you can help me out.
Oh, with the housing thing? Yeah, Candy,
sure.
Candy, you got my number. You got to reach out to me.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on the back end.
Yeah, you gotta because we talked about this a while back. But anyway, the reason why I'm saying that, because I'm in a better space to help you a lot more now compared to because you wanted to go in the county, remember?
I was trying to, and I was on. This is a couple years ago.
I know.
I was on the Section 8 list for Baltimore County, and then I get this letter in the mail. Oh, we're kicking you off. And I'm like, okay, why are they kicking me off?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just didn't make no sense to me. I was just like, so I did speak to somebody from social services, and they were like, well, there's too many people on the list. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that means I have to try in another county. Oh, you can. I'm like, okay, well, that's what I'll do then. So I'm in two different counties. I haven't heard anything, so who knows when that will happen.
And see, look, when I gave my first business meeting down at the building, it was apartment managers and all that type of stuff that came out, right? The reason why, because a lot of them are trying to get contracts with HUD housing. So they needed basically what I do, the temporary part, to put you into something permanent. So they needed to hook up with me so that they could say they doing this and they doing that for clients like yourself. And most of the houses, right, are in more conservative areas down near the inner harbor and all of that. I was like, ugh. Because look, which is not a problem because, you know, government gonna basically pay most of it. But they
give me a second.
All right. They was renting out rooms too, but they wanted $900 a month for the rooms. I was like, a lot of people don't have that type of money. But then I had to realize the areas that they're going to be in, and they're more, I'm gonna say, conservative areas. Money, you get me? More like your counties, areas, and stuff. But $900 for one room, that's like rent money. You get me? So I'd rather see you. If you can pay $900, be honest with you, I'd rather see you in your own place. Might end up costing you $1,000 or $1,200. But if I can get you into something for a little bit cheaper than the $900, that's the goal. But now it's dealing with certain landlords, private landlords, the one that want to work with you. Because most of the people that's like fell on hard times, homeless and less fortunate, 9 times out of 10 they've been evicted so many goddamn times, and they will use that against them not to let them in, or they'll charge them double security. So with me and the Jewish guy, my thing with him is the forgiveness program. And that's something that I started too, where I don't want you to use their criminal background or their background against them. Yeah, because that's a form of discrimination too, where they can use it against you. Come on, Candy.
When they do that, though, how do you know? It's kind of the same concept when it comes to racial profiling. You know, that's against the law too. But of course, when you go to apply to, you know, jobs or housing or what have you, you know, how do you know? You know what I mean?
Well, the Jewish guy that I'm working with, and he made it clear to me it's about money, right? And he have God dang it, a contract with HUD housing, and he got about 200 houses in there, or apartments or whatever, however it is. He got it in there where they pay him for the people that's coming in. Now, when me and him had a talk, and he understood what I do, he said, Steve, because mine's temporary, so I'm preparing you for the permanent. We're teaching you how to maintain their place and make sure you pay your bill every month on time. So he already knew all that. It was a lady that came in, and she wanted a full bedroom apartment, gas, electric, all that included. They wanted $1,400, excuse me, money for the place. No problem. Her and her husband can do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They go down there, put in the application and everything. They accepted their application, not just the 1,400. Now you got to pay 1,800. Double it up. You got to pay 2,800 for the month rent and security. Then they threw the third one, the second one on there, right? So it went from there all the way up to what, 3 times 14. And she called me. She was like, Mr. Steve, they charging me double rent and blah blah blah. Now I wanted them on Section 8. Number one, from the way me and him talked, I wanted them on Section 8. But this what I learned with the Jewish people is business, right? If they can get you to pay the money straight out the way it's supposed to be done, rather than putting you on Section 8 or low income, they rather have it like that first than to put you on there, because you know sometimes the government play with their money. See, now he helped me understand that. So I called him.
Bypass some of those, and the thing with the Jewish people too, they can bypass some of those qualifications or search and all that you have to have, or what's they called, the zoning, all that kind of stuff, the inspection and coding and all that for home. They can bypass some of that stuff too, though.
Wait a minute, say it again. Say it again. And guess what? They can, because but let me finish with this. Now, I talked with him, and it was his son that charged them double security. But what he told me, because he know what me and him talked about, when he said this to me, Money, he said it's business. And when he said it's business, I realized what the freak was going on. You get me? I said, okay. So turned around to find out, Money, and I said I'm not going to do it again. The girl that went down there had $1,400. Then she only had $2,000, so she didn't have the 2,800 point blank. And I said, why in the hell did you do that? Because at least if you're going to pay the 14, you can afford the 14. Make sure you got the first month and the security, because we don't really need to do this. Okay, I got you. And I said, you know what? I'll never let it happen again. I'm going to go by what you tell me, right? I'm going to go by what you tell me that you can afford. And I said, from there, Money, I got to make sure they got their damn money. I had 2 people do that. One guy went to look at this house for $900 a month. Now you got it's $900 for the rent, 2 bedrooms, you and your wife. Number one, you got to have the first month rent and then the security deposit. This sucker goes up there and didn't even have all the money. I said, you know what? Why are you telling me, like, when you come in, I'm holding you to hurry up and put you into a place, but you don't even have the money to go into the damn place. So I said, after that Money, I said, nah, I gotta do better with keeping track of certain things. I don't want to go too deep into your finances, right? As long as you telling me you working and you get paid every week and you can afford this and you can afford that, that's what I'm gonna go by. But the goal is, Money, when I bring you into the housing program, the room you in is $600. At least I know you can pay $600. The goal is not to put you in nothing higher than $600, because I know you can afford that. But if you tell me, oh no, we really can do this and do that, add more to it, then I'm gonna be like, okay. And now, mind you, I'm talking with landlords because I'm trying to put you mainly in nice areas, Candy. I'm trying to put you in a decent place, not straight in the hood. You get me? I don't want to put you straight in those smug infested areas. But God darn it, I said, you know what? And I told my team, I tell them give me 3 to 6 months, and I'm talking about the clients. So that's giving you time to save your money too. Do not come in, then a month later, you make me think you got money saved, and then you want to go ahead and jump into a place, right? And then I'm sitting up here talking to landlords or talking to somebody that'll let you in, and then you don't have all the goddamn go money. You know how that makes me look? It's my word, basically. I said, you know what? I said, y'all can stop playing with me. So for now on,
You would cover the missing money. That's probably what it was.
and know what, Hugh? I thank you for saying that because stop, Hugh. Because look, that's one of the things with the funding, uh, is to have extra money just in case somebody don't have all the money and we might can help them get into stuff. So I talk with people too to get them to invest. If it's no more than like 5,000, 2,000, whatever, it's like that. What is it? The reserve thing. I gave it a name, but you just brought it up, so it made me think about it. I was trying to get like with a group of us putting about 50,000 on the side. So those that's like in the program or they in the place, they got their place and everything, and it got to the point they couldn't afford it, that we could help them a little bit. So all of that I have it set up right, but it's like the hardest thing for me throughout the years is to actually get people to help fund the program for the homeless and the less fortunate people. And to me, I think it's so sad. I think it's sad because, I have to tell people to help me help them. The money that you give me is going to go to them as far as making sure they okay. And not only that, a lot of times I come out my own pocket with stuff. So it is a doggy dog thing because when if I make a little extra here and there, I put it back into the housing program. And I said, Steve, you gotta stop. But my thing is I want you to live a great life. I live a good life, and I'm talking about the rooms. I'm talking about my house, the way I carry myself. So I want you to live the same way, even if I have to put you in rooms, right? Um, all of my rooms, if it's an individual, and I'm sorry, if it's an individual, it's the queen size bed. If it's the mother and a child, I would do two twin beds or I'll do a full size bed. All depends on the size of the room. If it's a mother with about 5 kids, to give you a little example, and I got her in the room with 3 twin beds. The mother and the youngest can lay, and then if she had 2 other children that's kind of young, within 12, the age range where they can lay in the bed together, it's three. It's I'll put them in a room with 3 twin beds, right, in it, just to temporarily hold them and stuff like that. And they got the dresser, TV, all that. But that's for the mothers with a children with about 5 children. Now, if a mother come into the housing program and she got a 17, 18, 19-year-old, I can't put them in the rooms like that. I got it because mainly if they boys, right? If it's I can put the mother and the daughter, but now I got to put the boys in a different room. But I'm only charging 600, so I'm losing out on another room. If you get what I'm saying, right? So I would.
By law, you got to separate the sexes when it comes down to the kids.
There you go.
Being at age, if it's 5 and up, and it's a different sex, they must have their own room.
There you go.
Yeah.
And she right. She right. So that's when it get real complicated, right? Because money. I know you can't. You only paying 600 for your room. The individuals pay 600 too, right? But now
besides the fact that it's a different sex. What is a little kid gonna do with a huge room? But the one who's older, instead of having her own privacy, she got to shack up with the other little one.
And see, money. What Money's saying, right? Look, and I'm gonna say like 12, 14. Mainly if she's sprouting and doing what she do. To me, she needs her own privacy. So, like Money said, so you got to be careful, and you can't put boys with them like that. Even if they family, you can't do it. And what I had started doing on top of that, um, I had extra rooms, right, where I can do that. I can put the teenagers in, like if it's two boys, 18, 20, I can put them in the room together. But believe me, they couldn't go on the floor. Their mothers and the girls on it. They couldn't go on it. They too old. Um, they can't go on that floor. But when they're younger than that, they can go because now they're with their mothers. So you have to they protects them. But you're right. You're right. And that's what I had to do. I had to separate them and everything. I had recently looked at a building around here where I'm at. Oh my God. Used to be an old school. And I walked around that building 7 times and claimed it. And I talked with the people, but they told me they had other plans for it. But then later down the line, I said, if it's God's will for you to go there, He gonna make it. But now, big cafeteria in it and everything. So I'm looking because it's like a little school. It was like a private school. Um, and not only with mother and children, the way I was looking at it, um, they got a wheelchair ramp. So if I'm dealing with the veterans or the ones that disabled, I'm looking at how they could have sat outside. Oh man. So
What about some of the churches that closed down in the city?
I've been looking now. Say like if it's a church that shut down, but they had like a school part to it. Now I can do that. Right? Because basically you want to make sure you have the living space, and when you have school parts with classrooms, each classroom you can make like a bedroom, right? So that's real easy. That's why I do want a recreation center. I mean I do want a school, right? Um, so that the way I'm looking at it upstairs, if I have to do like the temporary housing part upstairs, that's what I'll do to separate them from downstairs. Downstairs, I want to have like music, art, theaters, the apprenticeship classes, stuff like that. So we have to separate it. And that's why I'm looking at certain schools because there's a lot of schools closed. But it's just the point. Be honest, I got a Jack Brandon Scott up.
I understand.
Not in the wrong way. Come here, nephew. I gotta talk with you. Come here. I need you to help me with this, help me with that. Come on.
Excuse me, Mr. Copeland. I got a question for you, if that's okay. I assume you're from Baltimore, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually here in the city, so I hear you. I appreciate it. I just want to come on here and say thank you for everything you do in the community. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, where you at?
West, like Fulton. I'm sorry, not west, south. I'm sorry.
That's my heart, man. Pennsylvania North.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up around there. So you know Antonio Hayes.
No, sir. I'm not originally from here.
Okay. Well, Antonio Hayes is that's the senator for that district. And Senator Antonio Hayes, I grew up with his mother and father now.
Okay.
So I call him nephew. I call him nephew.
I'm curious to know something. Have you ever run across a man named Shorty?
Mike in the house.
Have you ever run across a man named Shorty?
The one that says Mike, he yells out.
I'm not sure. He's short with a black guy with dreads, dark skinned guy with dreads.
Look like a Jamaican, and he do barbecuing. Yes, yeah. Remember when I said Mike in the house? Mike, no, Mike Church. That's Shorty.
Oh.
That's Shorty. Yeah, yeah. But you know him?
I know him.
That one didn't sound right.
Well, I know him.
Well, no, you said I know him. That one didn't sound.
I'm just curious.
No. I know him. But you know what? Shorty, I commend Shorty. Give me your name. Cause I only see like a money bag. What's your name?
Middle.
All right, Middle. You know how loud Shorty can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so surprised.
Why's that?
They ain't put him behind bars yet. They locked my butt up almost 3 years ago, right? And Shorty come for all that butts. And look, he got stopped. He did a little video. He got stopped because of his tag, like the barbecue truck he hit in the back of his tag, and the white police stopped him. He did a recording on it, and I laughed my tail off, right? Cause Shorty don't play, man. He don't play, and I'm gonna tell you what.
What's that?
We loud alike, but we really different. You get me?
Right.
So if you know him, and you know how he carry it, we're along the same line. But
okay.
Certain people you just respect where they at and how they do the game. You get me? So basically that's what I'm saying. But yeah, excuse me. Shorty. Yeah, that's my man. That's my man. I haven't seen him in a while though, other than when they do lives and everything. But a lot of them, money, be honest, Middle, I'm sorry. A lot of them that I have the utmost respect for in Baltimore with nonprofits and all that type of stuff, I don't mess with them, bro.
I understand.
Yeah, I respect them from a distance, you know, but I don't, it's like, do your thing. It's not me.
I get it.
Yeah, man, but I don't know you.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for everything that you do in the community.
Thank you.
My wife just got done making dinner, so I'm gonna go. Okay, but thank you again. Thank you again for your service.
All right, thank you for coming up and tell your wife hi. Tell her the big mouth bald head black dude in Baltimore. Let me stop. But that's what they call me, Middle, the big mouth bald head black dude.
Big mouth bald head black dude.
Yes, sir.
I'll catch you later. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you, Middle. What you get ready to say, Hugh?
I was just thinking about like adultification and emotional investment and how often that is. I don't know. I don't want to say the Black community, but I think I'll say just in general and how damaging it can be to kids. Like it's a thing. Because some kids don't even mature. Well, I don't even want to use that word mature because they're not really maturing. They're surviving.
Right.
Like it's like survival mode. It may mimic maturing, but it's like they're forced into like early adulthood, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like they have to like think like they're a parent or like they're like their parents' like spouse or something, because that's what they call it. Like they take on the responsibilities of the household. They fulfill that parent's emotional needs. Like nothing sexual, but it's all that, but without the sex, right? And that's why like there's like boy moms. And there's even like the same thing can happen with daughters too. Like what you were saying with the big sister, kind of looking after the kids, kind of sharing the labor, putting her problems last. It's really toxic. And I don't think a lot of parents see the problem with that.
Right.
Because they're like, well, I brought you into this world, I feed you, I put a house over your head, and that's what you're supposed to do. Like, and if they didn't do that, they would probably go to jail. So that's not really a flex. That's what you gotta have to do, right? And it's very odd. It's just broken people, perpetuating the cycle.
And see, all that's true. Everything you just said, like I said, remember, my mother taught me at a very early young age, how to be responsible, right? To me, now that I look back at it, because I'm grown, that was a lot of pressure on me, you know, to I used to make market and everything too. So my mother got food stamps, and we would push like 2 carts around, right, full of food. So that's when we had the paper stamp stuff, right? But I mean food stamps, yeah. But now when I look back at a lot of that, um, there was a lot of pressure on me to be responsible at a very, very early young age. And I was determined. I was determined that I was not going to do my kids like that. Put adult responsibilities on them, you know. And that's the only reason why, once again, money, that I do what I do right here with the Teen Talk Show, because it takes me back to self and how, the pressure of life and how I had to grow up real fast. So sometimes when you hear me over here acting like a little kid and laughing at kids and saying little crazy stuff, right? That's that damn child, that young one trying to come out and have fun too. But it's the adult that has to keep that child under control, or that teenager. And then I have to realize throughout the years now, Steve, you're not a kid no more. You're a grown goddamn going over the hill man. Even though you might look at yourself and say, "Man, I don't look like I'm getting ready to turn 64. I don't look like that." I'll be like, "Yeah." Remember, I was sharing it earlier, money. My mind tell me I'm 46. I'm getting ready to turn 40 of 64, but I'll say 46. My body be like, "You better stop playing. You know your butt getting old." But look, it's good when you can joke like that and you can play. That's what I be trying to tell people. Enjoy your life. Mainly the ones that's in their 30s, close to 40s, stuff like that I be listening to, maybe in their 20s and late 20s, but I be listening to, and they act like they know every goddamn thing and they got it. Man, I'm like, look, each phase, when I went through my 30s, it wasn't nothing like my 20s. When I went through my 40s, it wasn't nothing like my 30s. Because it's like every, what is it? The age, like from 30 to 40, you realize in between those 10 years, you're getting older, or you're getting more productive and responsible. So this is what get me right now where I'm at, family. Um, at 64 years old, and I'm gonna go back to this. If a man don't know where he came from, if a man don't know where he came from, he won't know where he's going. And the thing is, right now, that I know who I am and where I came from, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, because I'm looking at my 30s, I'm looking at my 40s, I'm looking at my 50s. So I'm at a place now in my life where it's just focusing on, to me, the normal things, right? Of building and structuring. But it's like I'm not personally trying to add a lot of new stuff to learn this and that. I'm just trying to fix it with, it's not like I can't learn stuff. Don't get it wrong. But I'm not trying to read out and live through this and that. And I'm trying to spend the rest of my days as peaceful and comfortable as I can. And if I can move away from this business, I need me a sugar mama to take care of me so I can move away from this damn business.
Right, go to Hawaii. Right.
Yeah. Look. I joke about that too, right? I be like, I want a cougar. I'm tired of working. I'm tired of, because still you trying to run your business, do the housing program, help everybody else. I'm like, shh. Even though I say I'm retired, shit, that's like I'm working. Money, you got me. That means that's like I'm working. I ain't going to work today.
Right.
My schedule. If you look on my thing, right, my schedule is from 10 to 4. People know you better not call me before 11 in the morning. He ain't gonna answer that. Tell you, you better not call him. You better not call. And then I start realizing I really don't have to be like there like that. And it hit me one day, Steve, you got people that's actually filling in the gap for you. Chill. Whew, chill. And when I said that, now I ain't no billionaire or nothing like that. But when I look at people like Elon Musk and them, right? And when you have a business and you have people that believe in your business, right? They normally run your business for you because they believe in your vision. That's why they became billionaires, because of people believing in their vision and coming to be a part of what they do. And now you don't even have to work as hard no more. You ain't got to work as hard. It's your team. Wow. And that hit me 1 year. I ain't there, but I started seeing business wise, you set everything up, line it up, make sure it's running right. But it's other people that become a part of your team that believes in your vision and the things that you do. It's just like a pastor in the church. He can start out in a small church, and as the church begin to grow, it's the congregation or the community where they might turn around and get a bigger spot. Yeah. And the only reason why I can say that because I watched my pastor. And it ain't that, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I used to say, yeah, he's stealing the money, he doing this, he doing that. But then the Holy Spirit hit me and said, focus on what you're supposed to do. As far as my tithe and my offering, and don't worry about, But I started seeing how we start expanding as we begin to grow. We had to they had to move to the building they in now. Because I've been there this year. Well, matter of fact, yep, Easter be 25 years. So I see what happens in the inside. So most people that look at these mega churches, they might look at the pastor, but it's really the congregation that's putting the money in, they're tithing and offering, and that's how they're able to add on to the building, create other buildings for that. They don't realize it's the congregation and not the pastor himself. Huh?
Isn't the congregation involved in marketing and advertisement as well?
Well, let me see.
We're just spreading the word.
Right. Wait a minute, because basically, it's like a non-profit, but I'm trying to say, is it like marketing? Because see, what I do, right, be honest, what I do, if I sit back and tell people that I go to CRL Ministry, the Church of the Redeemed, 4321 Old York Road, so this is promoting the church. That's how I do it. Now, we do my pastor is on Facebook as far as when he's doing the service. He's on most of your social media networks where most of your pastors and stuff go on to preach and stuff like that. So yeah, we do that right there. But a lot of times when you hear me, when we come on here, and I want to put us together, when we come on the Couch Talk or the Teen Talk show, this is commercializing too. This is actually promoting and advertising the business. But now when you said marketing, I've been trying to figure out, look, that's why I'm like, I need a team. I be trying to market my own stuff as well. And it's a lot. It's a lot, right? And I need somebody to understand more about it than me, to actually hit that up. And to be honest with y'all, as we begin to grow, and I'm still on my broadcast network, and that's the one I'm mainly talking about. I'm trying to fix it where, you know what I'm trying to say here, the damn money start coming in. The damn money start coming in. So this is why I do what I do, family. Because long as I do this, it's going to be somebody somewhere out there that'll hear me and be like, wow, I like Baltimore City, so I'm going to go and invest in what he's doing. Or somebody hearing me, like a Oprah Winfrey or somebody like that, might be like, who's that guy right there, little stuff. and they hear what I say, and I do believe in my spirit that God is going to guide that one person there. It's probably going to be a lot, but I'm just saying. It's just the way he's showing me stuff. And even though, be honest with y'all, it's business. Okay? It's business. I tell everybody that comes near me, and if you hang in here with me, I make millions, you gonna make millions. Because I start looking at it as a team. So whatever start coming in, my thing is I want to watch out for the people that's supporting me. Real simple.
Right.
And I don't play that. Anybody that knows me tell you, Steve don't have no problem. You better bet third. You better keep your butt here. But look, that's where I'm at, family. I'm not doing this. It's business. I don't know no other way to put it. Money is business. You know what I mean? And just like any business, I'm good. Keep it like that. I'm good. I don't want for nothing. But the goal is to be honest with y'all. And Hugh, at first, I wasn't even worried about it. I said, like leaving millions behind for my children. I'm like, nah, because they're going to work and they're going to do it. So it hit me. And I said, through everything that I'm doing, the goal is to make millions where I could leave an inheritance behind for my children.
Right.
And I know it's coming for the things that God have lined up. I just say to myself sometimes, money, God, why you wait for me to get this old to do this? What could I do when I was younger? I ain't got no 20 years. I ain't trying to wait 20 years. And I'm just talking about people that I know that's been doing this type of stuff for the longest time. And guess what? They don't get shit. They don't get shit. And when I say that, I'm talking about grant money and all that. They don't get shit. And I've been doing it. I'm gonna say maybe 7. I don't have to worry about shit. You get me? So I'm just saying, right? Cause I'm watching them, and they do beautiful work. Don't get it wrong for the community and stuff like that, but they are not getting government funding, and that's why I said for me that now I'm gonna have to do the 501c3. But once I do, Brandon Scott, the mayor of Baltimore City, what's up, nephew? Antonio Hayes, what's up, nephew? You get it, money?
Yeah, can you donate?
You get it?
Right.
Come on, we need to talk. We need to talk. Look, money, we need to talk. Put this in your pocket. Let me stop.
Yeah, and for like under this administration, it seems better to be a business more than be a nonprofit, especially with the cuts to things like SNAP and DHS and things of that nature. So I totally get it. And being a business isn't necessarily bad.
Right.
As long as you're running it good and you value your people, that doesn't, it should be fine.
You know the good part about being an LLC and somebody having a nonprofit, they want to team up with me because they know I got the business, and whatever work I do towards giving back in the community, I can use your EIN number because you're a nonprofit, so that's a tax write-off for you. So I'm passing it to you.
Right.
Now the goal is, be honest, I've been wanting a school anyway, or a nice building similar, but I've been wanting a school. That's been on my heart, and to do mainly everything out of, and I want a field where we can do soccer, where we can do, the natural sports like football, all this type of stuff, basketball, that's normal. But now let me show y'all this, money. I don't have to be certified. I don't have to be licensed. Mute up, please. I don't have to be licensed because I'm an LLC. So if I get a field with a building on it, right, like the recreation center, and you want to come in and teach basketball, you want to come in and teach football, you the one that has to be licensed and certified. So basically, I can get this place, but I hire you to do the work. That's the point of having an LLC. I ain't got to be licensed to do shit because I'm a business and I bring you on. So you the one. If you are you can train for soccer, right? Teach for soccer. Actually, I can hire you like my son because of where he's at with soccer and everything. If I open up a field, well, open up a center where he can teach soccer, he can do all that. And I told him, I said, Steve, if you want to, well, if you're getting to the point you don't want to go overseas because you're still young, you getting to the, well, he'd be 23. You're getting to the point that you don't want to go overseas. I said, start your league here. That's why I have a page called Stephen Copeland Jr.'s Sports and Talents. That's for the multi-purpose center. And I have people that, when it's time for us to do what needs to be done, I just go talk with them. So we can just lay it out. But it's lining people up for it. So that way I would have to get the spot. If it's no more than putting a trailer on there, but if you, and I'm talking about land money. If you're gonna get a land, right? And I'm riding players to Lake Clifton, and I'm looking over at that field, and somebody told me, they said, that used to be a reservoir. I said, no wonder that grass be as much, soft as it is. So I'm looking at soccer because they have a soccer thing there, but I'm looking at how uneven it is. See, I'm paying attention to details because when it comes to soccer and stuff like that, you want to make sure the grass is laid out right. If not, you're going to have to pull that grass up and put a tarp thing of grass down, right? So this where my mind take me because I know how the field's supposed to be. Not just soccer, they can play golf. It has a little golf course over there too. So they'll mind you, when that time comes for me to go into that area, I can go right there and talk with them and actually be a part of what they're doing to bring everything in that they don't have. And that's all you got to do is line people up to do it. You see how I'm talking money? And when I'm sitting, I'm more conservative then. But still, when I sit with business people and I come in, they be like, damn. Because my mind will go, and I'll start coming up with ways and means. And it's like, it's a big vision. And you might have it too, and we'll be on the same plane. It's just implementing it. That's all. That's all. And that's why I had to back up money, because at one point I was trying to do a million things at one time. It was like, back up, Steve, back up. One step at a time. One step at a time. And you got to make sure you got the right people lined up for everything you want done. So by me doing this, family, running off in my mouth, the Restream, the network, and they watching it all over. Somebody, somewhere, like I said, going to see it. And then they be like, I'm going to try to, let me see, what's that goddamn noise? Hook up with him. So, little things, right, family, I don't worry about no more. It's just the point when the time come, doing it. You get me? And I see how God is lining certain things up. Get this done, get out the way. Get this done, get out the way. So that way, once everything lined up and running, I can just go around and be like, and that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And that's a good goddamn feeling, money. Because I know me and you talk about business and stuff too, but that's a good goddamn goody feeling. Because you got to line the right people up. You got to. And people, and to go back to what we were saying here, with any church, that's a nonprofit. So it actually belongs to the community. That's why people get so confused, right? It belongs to the community. But you hire a pastor to come and run it. You get me? The church don't belong to no individual. Some of them try to claim it, but that's them selfish and self-centered ones. But the church as a nonprofit, it belongs to the community, not the pastor. Yeah. And as a deacon, to be honest with y'all, if my pastor wasn't doing or we become unsatisfied with the pastor, we can let him go. See,
Yeah.
people don't know that. You got to know your position. And if you don't know about church business, you won't understand. As an ordained deacon, I didn't just say deacon, I said ordained deacon. I'm next in line to be a priest. So I'm basically under my pastor. And I represent him into the community, but I represent Christ first. Let me make that clear. Then when I'm in the community, because that's my pastor, and I'm under him, I represent the church, my pastor. So it's not to get out there and act like a fool. You get me? And if I do act like a fool, family, don't tell nobody you go to the Church of the Redeemed. Because they be like, oh, that's how they create people. No, 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 no. Steve do what Steve. No, 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 no. But I can, like I said, I can share that, right? Because basically I grew up in this church and I see how they operate. So if you're not really involved, you will sit back and say, oh, they stealing the money. Oh, they doing this or they doing that. You will do it. Because I remember, early on, I was like, he taking the money and all that type of stuff. But as a deacon, we collected the money and we gave it to the treasurer. But still, it's not to say that if he didn't want to do certain things, he could do it. But one thing I could say at the time, being in his church, he writes his own books and all this stuff. And when you go to other churches to preach, they normally take up an offering for him. Any pastor that comes to us. So that's how he really makes his money along that way too. And he had no problem. If you need help with anything, he got your back. That's one thing I could say about Bishop. Because it's not all about the money to him. He teaches, he don't preach. He teaches. And it just helps you understand a lot more the life of Christ, as far as individually how they walk through the community to help the homeless and the less fortunate and that smug addict and all that. And my pastor don't have no problem coming out like that. None. And that's what I say that's what I love about him, because I actually see what he do, in firsthand. So when people knock pastors and stuff, I don't take nothing like that personal unless you try to badmouth mine. We don't play that. We don't play it. We don't play it because we know this far. I never heard nobody talk bad about him in that sense, like messing around and blah blah blah. And then on top of that, he got a beautiful wife. He's 80. She's about 60 something. Wait a minute. I'm 64, so she's about maybe 72. Around there. Both of them look good as all outdoors because they don't look old. You get me?
Correct.
And when I see them, I be so amazed. And look, not just that, how they fellowship with the people. I'm like, whoa. Because some pastors act like they too legit or they can't be reached, But that's one thing I could say. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Right now,
Huh?
on that, I was going to say, that is one of the things that I don't like about certain churches. I go to a predominantly YT, and it's older YT, I'm going to say 60 and up. And a lot of them in there are retired, retired and bought their home, so forth and so on. But the pastor is like those people pay their tithes and offerings and missionary trips and all kinds of stuff like this. And the pastor, of course, gets paid very, very well.
Yeah.
And he at this sometimes too. I also see, like you said, acting like he's too legit, like he's so busy. Either he's not even there, half the time to talk to, the people, the members, I want to say. The members, or he's sitting inside his office doing some nonchalant stuff. It's just crazy. But they'll be busy taking trips and doing all this other stuff. Even at my church too, they even have a church van, the 15-passenger van, right?
Right.
And they're not utilizing the van. They just letting it sit there and go to waste and just get rusty and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, wow, who does that? I still know churches that wish they had a vehicle, to go out to the community. They don't even do that. Me and my one sister that goes there, she went there before May. Yeah, she's like, come on, because she know I speak up. And we mentioning certain things that we can do, for the church, to bring funds into the church, and then the profit you can put towards something in the community or for missionary trips and stuff like that, right? These people, do you know, they have empty rooms, the daycare rooms with the flat screen TVs, with the toys, the cribs. I mean, you name it. I mean, they got several rooms that is just taking up space, just sitting there. That's not getting used. And guess what? But upstairs, oh my gosh, upstairs is a whole gymnasium with the stage, a kitchen. Guess who's using that now, though? A whole nother culture of people is using that upstairs. And I said, well, wow, if this is what's going to happen eventually, and I foresee this in this community, what's going to happen is those people are all end up taking over the whole church, because as we speak, they're asking for more. Those rooms that I said that wasn't being used, they're asking for more of those rooms. So I said, wow, like, what's good? And then they don't even have a food pantry. They don't have a soup cupboard there, nothing. And they have a beautiful, huge kitchen. And even my girlfriend has the, what's the food and, what's that certificate you gotta have, that you gotta have in the kitchen?
Calling catering. Well, a caterer. Yeah. Well, a chef, culinary chef.
Yeah, for a chef to be in there, or what's the name of that cert that you gotta have? But anyway, she got her certificate, even hang it inside of the kitchen to be able, because she's a cook. Yeah, she likes to cook. Don't you know? She even said, "Oh, we should do this, we should do that," and it's only like 4 or 5 BOK people, in the church. So it's kind of, I told my girlfriend, you know what? I'm over talking about it. It's like whatever we say, it don't matter. So I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And I said, after a while, your certificate is going to expire. So you might as well call that quits. You might as well take that up out of there. Then what are they going to do? It's crazy. I don't understand that when it comes to certain churches and stuff. But I don't get that at all.
That's sad. Everything you were saying, it's like, remember I said I want another building, right? Mm-hmm. And that sounds exactly like what I would love, Mm-hmm. Down at the building, it has a culinary kitchen and everything in it. But my partner now, they working back on the building, but he basically work with men. I do women. So he don't do women and children, but he does men because he works with returning citizens and stuff like that, right? So all of that laid out, all of that. And the staff that I have a guy who's he teaches too. He can accredit you with your bachelor's of art degree and stuff like that, right? And he trains, he teaches, he tutors. So he's a part of what I'm doing too. Excuse me. And he was over on my he came on my broadcast the other day, It was about 5 of them, and they was saying, "We gonna do this, we gonna do that." Right? As far as we looking for another spot. Let me just put it like that. Like I keep saying, and what I did, money. My friend introduced me to this lady at the building. At the building, she had nobody in it. Now I deal with women and children. She wanted, basically, she wanted to turn it into like a one of them centers, right, for elderly people. But she didn't have the clients. She didn't have it lined up the way she wanted it done. But anyway, he introduced me to her to help her. So I told her, I said, let me come in with my housing program. Now, mind you, let me end this. Hold up.